Let's consider now the main personas and flows. Okay, let's have a look into the main roles. In the demo, you will see four main personas. The first one is called custodian and is the main user for the signer application. The custodian are the trusted user within each organization/instance, and they are the only one able to see the cryptographic keys stored in the application and manage the connection between platform user and blockchain accounts. We will see how a custodian can create a key pair on behalf of a user. A user could also create a key pair for himself, but only custodians have access to its signed tables. The second user role is called governor and is the main role for the itspoke application. This user is responsible for the correct configuration of the spoke and client-server side APIs. Governor can deploy smart contracts and invoke their methods, as well as monitor deployments and invocation that are done by apps built on top of it now. There is a substantial separation of duties between custodians and governor because custodians are not allowed to do any activity that interact with the blockchain, while governor cannot touch any user and account configuration. Coming to the Now token example DApp built on top of the spoke, there are two main roles. The first one is the token manager, that is a profile able to deploy the token smart contract on behalf of the organization and manage the initial token distribution to user. For example, Fidelity Investments manage a token distribution to incentivize employees for good performance and attendance of corporate events called BBT, and also educating its workforce on how digital assets work. Lastly, we have a token user like Alice and Bob who owns the tokens in their wallets and may want to send to another user inside or outside of the organization or redeem them for gadgets or services. Moreover, each of these scoped applications has its own admin roles so that global admins don't have any special right in regards to blockchain. Of course, scoped admins also need to have a high level of trust within the organization. Let's build a high-level picture of the flows to see how they connect each other and are invoked by the users. So first of all, we have the eSign scoped application. This application has two main flows. The key pair generation flow allows the creation of a new key pair for a ServiceNow user. The sign transaction flow executes signatures based on user permissions and stored keys. We will see how the custodian can create a new key pair on behalf of the user and also how he can test a transaction signature. Remember that he is not expected to interact with the blockchain in any way due to the separation of duties. The Spoke application contains three major flows: the deploy smart contract flow, which publishes smart contract on the blockchain, the send transaction flow that call a write method, and the call method flow that calls a read method on the smart contract instance. Deploy and write action called sign transaction as a subflow, which runs always with the custodian role using the Paris run as capability. We will see in the demo how the governor can manage these three processes. Finally, the token application built on top of it now also has three main flows. The deploy now token flow, which hides away the complexity of passing parameters to the spoke. The distribute token flow, which leverages the client-side API to create a token distribution. The send now token flow, which sends tokens between two users. All the now token flows called the spoke flows, which again run as the governor role. We will see how the token admin can execute both the initial deployment and the token distribution, and how the token user Alice can send part of her wealth to Bob. So, to summarize, peeling the onion from the inside out, we will first impersonate the custodian calling the key pair generation and sign transaction flows, then impersonate the governor calling its three flows from the portal that in turn use the custodian flows as a bot within the process, and finally take the perspective of the now token personas calling their flows, which again use the governor flows as a bot.